Okay, students, in my absence, here's a mini lesson on using the unit circle. Yes, we've been talking about it in 4.4, that was a unit circle part 1. And unit circle part 2 will be using what I'm telling you right now more in detail. You're staring at your unit circle, so for all practical purposes, I'm going to tell you that this is quadrant 1 because as I open an angle up, I'm going in this direction. That's where it starts. All angles start here at 0 degrees. As you go around, I'm in now quadrant 2. Now I'm in quadrant 3. And eventually, I'll make it quadrant 4. One of the things I should talk about will be related to the angles that are in there. And we've done a lot of work in quadrant 1. And I'm looking at a 30-degree angle. So my reference angle starts at the x-axis and I open up till I get to 30. There it is. There's 30, but it's labeled for you. It's pi over 6. 0 degrees is equal to 0 radians. 120 degrees is the same as 2 pi over 3's because there's two 60s. 60 and a 60. 2 pi over 3's because 60 is a pi over 3. And so forth. And back to my 30-degree triangle. Not a triangle yet until I drop the perpendicular. Now I drop that perpendicular. And we have used this triangle before because the hypotenuse is a 1. Across the street from a 30 used to be a 1, but because I had to take that 2 and divide, it's actually the same as those coordinates. The y value is 1/2. The x value here is the first term because all your ordered pairs are x comma y. Square root of 3 over 2. So what's good about this is I know for a fact that my x value is always the cosine of my theta. So therefore, cosine of 30 degrees will be the x value, which is right here, square root of 3 over 2. Whereas the sine of 30 degrees will be the 1/2, the y value. While I'm there, the tangent of 30 degrees. Think about what this triangle says. Still 30. And I know tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. So looking over here, I see the opposite is the 1/2, which is my y, and the adjacent is my square root of 3 over 2, which is my x. So we can say the tangent of 30 is also equal to y over x. So I'll just plug in my y, which was 1/2, divided by square root of 3 over 2. Take the top fraction, multiply by the reciprocal of the bottom fraction, 2 over the square root of 3. 2's cancel, leaving 1 over the square root of 3. You're not allowed to leave that answer. You have to rationalize the denominator by multiplying both by the same thing as it's in the denominator. 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is technically the square root of 9 because 3 times 3 is 9, but we never leave it like that. Square root of 3 over 3. Now, your trig values can also be negative because as in this quadrant here, the x's are always positive and the y's are always positive. I had to roll y. The y's are always positive. But if you go over in quadrant 2, the x's are always negative. The y's are still positive. In 3, they're both negative. Negative x's, negative y's. Quadrant 4, the x value is still positive, but the y value is still negative. So in quadrant 4, we would write positive x's, negative y's, which explains why when I look at an angle of like 150 degrees, it would make sense that the x value is negative, and sure enough, there's that negative right here. But the y value is still positive. The x value on this triangle is a negative x value. The y value is going up, so it's still positive. If we go and do a 300-degree triangle, let's see, where's that going to be? Let me get some things erased a little bit. 300 degrees, going all the way around. All the way to 300. There it is. 300. Notice the x values are positive. The y values are negative. The x value is positive. The y value is negative. So the cosine of 300 degrees is a positive half. But the sine of 300 degrees is a negative square root of 3 over 2. And don't forget tangent. It's not that big deal. Matter of fact, tangent of 300 degrees is actually the same thing as saying the sine of 300 degrees divided by the cosine of 300 degrees, because sine is the y, cosine is the x. By knowing that, then that's one of the identities that I had mentioned to you already. Sine over cosine is tangent. It's an identity. So tangent of 300 will be my y, which is negative square root of 3 over 2, divided by my cosine, which is 1/2. Rewrite that as negative square root of 3 over 2 times the reciprocal. 2's cancel. 1 times 1 is still 1, so there's still a negative here. Negative square root of 3. Okay, now you have had a look at all different weird angles from all over the place. I didn't do anything on the for instance, I didn't do sine of 90. But sine of 90, if you go up there, sine of 90, you'll see there's the ordered pair. Has to be the y. It's a 1. That means the cosine of 90 had to be 0. So you do that for all 4 of these points that are on the axes. Even for the 0, I think I lost it now that I wrote all over it. But it's in there somewhere. It was 1, 0. And then there's my 0, 1 way up here. So please use this unit circle to solve a lot of trig values on the handout that's in the front of the room. Put your name, date, period on the handout and turn it into the sub. Have a good day.